Have you ever wanted to cross that rope bridge above the crocodiles on the Kilimanjaro Safaris? Have you ever wished that the truck would just stop a minute longer so you could get a great photo? Well, today on Walt Disney World Adults Only, we're going to explore the secrets of the Wild Africa Trek. Hi, I'm Carol from Walt Disney World Adults Only, and today we're going to explore the behind-the-scenes tour Wild Africa Trek. It's a 3-hour tour and prices range from $189 to $249 depending on the time of year you go. Participants must be able to walk by themselves. There is an alternate program for those in scooters or wheelchairs, but you'd have to call Walt Disney World about that one specifically. There's a weight limit of 45 to 310 pounds. That's including 10 pounds of safety gear that you must wear for almost that whole 3 hours. The safety gear is provided. It includes a vest, a carabiner that attaches you to the rope when you are crossing the crocodiles or when you're up close and looking at the hippos. And it also includes a headset so that you can hear your guide at all times. And that's really important so you hear what's going on, but also for safety reasons. The minimum height is 48 inches and you must be 8 years or older to participate, and those under 18 must be accompanied by a parent. There are even clothing requirements. They require a closed-toe shoe with a heel, so you can't just have like an open croc or anything like that. They recommend shorts or pants. Dresses are really not the way to go as you're traipsing through the woods. Everything must be tied down. They give you straps for your glasses. Anything that can't be tied down must go in the locker, which they provide. Now, the first time I took the tour, I had a Fitbit that didn't have a clasp. Even though it attached pretty securely, I had to leave my Fitbit behind. So they're very, very careful to make sure nothing falls into the animal enclosures. You can take a camera as long as the strap goes around your neck or hooked to your safety vest. The guide is also a photographer, and he takes pictures along the route. So even if you don't have Memory Maker, those pictures are included in the price of the tour. You then walk through part of the Gorilla Falls, so you're walking among other guests going in usually the opposite direction that they would head. And then your first real treat is you end up on the back side of the hippos on the right side of the Kilimanjaro Safari. So not the big enclosure with several hippos, but the one that has the 2 hippos in it. Now, if you're afraid of height, you might not want to do the Wild African Trek because of that. Don't be alarmed. This is Disney and it's very safe. You're attached to a tether hooked to a carabiner to your safety vest. The bridge has a rope netting underneath the boards, so even if you were to fall through one of the boards, you'd be caught by the rope. So it is much safer than it looks, but it's an exciting experience just the same. You do ride a safari truck, but it takes a different path than the usual trucks, and it does stop a couple times so you can really get some nice shots. And I don't mean stop for a minute versus 30 seconds. I'm talking a good 10 minutes that it will stop if the animals are there. Then you would go to the snacks on the savannah, and you're there for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending. One of the most enjoyable parts is eating snacks on the savannah. So that building that you may see in the far back when you're riding the Kilimanjaro Safaris, people actually are able to sit there and get a bird's eye view of the animals while they're eating a nice light snack. For both breakfast and lunch, they offer beef and prosciutto, smoked salmon, fruit marinated in mint and ginger. They serve jungle juice that you see around Animal Kingdom a lot. It's orange juice, passion fruit juice, and guava juice. The morning also offers fig cake with Boursin cheese, brie and apricot, berry yogurt, and dried cranberry. In the afternoon, they offer chicken curried salad, sun-dried tomato hummus and pita, and marinated tandoori shrimp. They serve it in a little canteen-like structure with an orchid on top. The orchid is also edible. And then you'd return to the headquarters of Wild Africa Trek and return your gear. You're given a code to download all the pictures. So again, even if you don't have Memory Maker, you will get those pictures. And the photographers are pretty good about taking multiple pictures of your group. I know Taylor has done Wild Africa Trek before. Taylor, what prompted you to do it in the first place? And would you return?
Hi Carol. Yeah, I have done the Wild Africa Trek and I absolutely loved it and would actually really love to do it again in the future. As you all know, Jake and I got married in Disney in 2014, and at that time, if you had a Disney wedding, you also got an annual pass for that year as well. So we had to go back to Disney for our 1-year anniversary to celebrate. And Jake surprised me with the Wild Africa Trek for that anniversary. And he didn't surprise me the day of. He was really considerate and told me about it when we were packing to make sure that I had packed closed-toed shoes because those are required for this tour. So he was really thinking ahead, and I was just so excited because I had heard wonderful things about it and I just love animals so much, so I was ready. That being said, this was 2015, so my memories are a little bit foggy. We weren't vlogging back then yet, so I have the pictures, but I don't remember it as great as I would have if we were vlogging it. So let me just tell you what I do remember. I think that we did it in an afternoon time slot. It was right in the middle of our vacation and it was pretty hot, if I'm remembering correctly. I do know that there was a pretty large group. It wasn't just, 5 or 8 people. There were a lot of us and there were children in the group. So this is not an adult only tour. I also remember that we had the most amazing guides. It was 2 younger women and you could tell that they really loved their jobs. They were super knowledgeable. They were incredibly friendly and nice, and they were really funny too. I really loved seeing the behind the scenes area of Kilimanjaro Safaris. We got to be super close to the hippos, see them being fed, got to ask questions, learned about them. It was a really amazing experience. And then learning about the crocodiles and walking over the rickety bridge above them, it gets your heart racing a little bit. It's not a tour for the faint. It was a lot of walking and it was hot, but I don't remember being miserable at all. I remember just having so much fun. And after the trekking part of the journey, when we were getting into the truck to actually go out on the savannah, they gave everyone cooling towels, which I didn't know about, and that was a really nice touch to cool down after doing the actual work of the tour. Going out on the savannah and being able to just stop and sit and watch the giraffes, watch the zebra, watch the animals, without being on the safari where you maybe get 5 to 10 seconds to enjoy it, but to just sit and learn about them and ask questions. It was just such an amazing experience. And then after that, they take you onto that platform to eat lunch. And you still get to see the animals. I mean, if you love animals, this tour is 100% for you. I can't remember exactly what was in that lunch. I do remember a chicken curry salad that was really yummy and a selection of charcuterie meats. And when Jake booked the tour, they asked about allergies. So he told them I couldn't have pork, and they had a little tag on the metal carrier that said no pork, and they just took out the pork of that charcuterie portion. and substituted in more turkey or beef. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's really great that if you have allergies, you don't have to worry even on these tours. After we ate, we got to walk around that little pavilion, continue to gaze out on the savannah, look for the animals, and there was actually a new baby rhino at the time, and we got to spend some time just watching the baby and its mom interacting and having pictures taken and taking our own pictures. It was so cool. Overall, I can't think of a single bad thing to say about this tour. It is pricey, yes, but I think it is 100% worth it, especially if you've done Kilimanjaro 1,000 times. It's such a cool way to experience that attraction while also learning about all of the animals that call the savannah home. I would like to do it in the morning next time, just to get a different time frame and a different experience that way, and for maybe it to be a little bit cooler because it's Florida. It can be really hot. So I say go for it. If you are thinking about doing the Wild Africa Trek, it is 100% worth it. Okay, Jackie, I know you also enjoyed Wild Africa Trek. What are some of your favorite memories?
Taylor, Wild Africa Trek is a must-do for animal lovers like us. I have so many great memories from my tour. I chose the first tour of the morning as it was August and it was very humid. I really like the ability to go behind the scenes on all the different trails of the safari. I especially love seeing the hippos up close and being able to interact with their trainers and just ask a lot of questions. I also like seeing the crocodiles, but not so much walking over them on the bridge. You were even able to see the fellow park goers on their safari tours. Okay, so I have to be honest. I was a little afraid of going along those footbridges. The Imagineers did a little too good a job designing them to look old and rickety. Granted, Disney had our best interest in mind and did have us harnessed up, but still, it's just the thought that creeped me out. I did it though. It was really neat. Our tour had our own safari vehicle and took a little bit different route around the savannah and the other enclosures. We even were stopped by a giraffe eating from a tree. It was really neat to be able to interact and ask questions of our tour guides and watch the wildlife. I still can't believe how close we got to the giraffes on our way to the boma. It was so interesting. The boma had the most spectacular views of the savannah. It was so peaceful eating our snacks that were provided in our tip-ins. Would I do this tour again? Heck yeah. Natalie, I know you've done backstage tours at Animal Kingdom. Have you done the Wild Africa Trek yet?
Thanks, Jackie. I have not actually managed to do Wild Africa Trek yet, but it's definitely the top of my list for backstage tours to try, hopefully on my next trip to Walt Disney World. Now, although I've not done Wild Africa Trek, I have done a backstage tour at Animal Kingdom before. Unfortunately, the tour that I did, Backstage Tales, is no longer offered, which is a shame because it was an absolutely fantastic tour and I highly recommended it to anyone. The tour started early in the morning, which was great to see the Animal Kingdom park before it opened up to the public. The tour focused on going backstage to see the habitats of the animals, such as the rhinos and baboons, and seeing how they are taken care of in both health and conservation efforts to protect the species. The tour was great. We even managed to go and see the veterinary centre there, where they have 2 CT scanners, which is amazing. The animals really do have state-of-the-art veterinary care. It was wonderful to see. It's also interesting to learn how they help to take care of the animals. A lot of the animals are encouraged on a daily basis to take part in their own veterinary care, such as for visual inspections. Using treats, visual cues and words, they can present certain areas of their body, such as rhinos showing their ears so they can get blood samples taken, tigers giving their tails and things like that. It's fascinating to find out how they do everything. How else would you be able to take such good care of essentially wild animals? Although I've not been on Wild Africa Trek yet, it's definitely something that I want to do, especially having heard all my friends talk about it. So Carol, I know you're a big fan of Animal Kingdom, so is Wild Africa Trek your favourite backstage tour?
Thanks Thanks, Natalie. Yeah, it is one of my favorite Backstage tours. Although they used to have one a few years ago that took you to the animal enclosures where the animals went at night, and then they took you on a safari. They showed you all the hidden containment devices that keep the animals separate so the lions don't actually eat any of the hoofed animals. It sort of took away the magic, but it was really, really interesting. And on every other trip I go on the safari, I always look for those things. I've done Wild Africa Trek twice, and I had the same guide both times, Jason, and he was excellent. Being a retired science teacher, I really enjoyed being able to ask questions about behavioral training and veterinary procedures. I also enjoyed the truck stopping for longer periods of time. I got some really great photos when they did. And the lunch on the savannah was delicious. I do have some dietary restrictions, and they were very good about making sure that my canteen held stuff that I could eat. So for me, Wild Africa Trek is definitely worth the price, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I think that's the general consensus of the members of our group. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Did we convince you to try Wild Africa Trek on your next trip? Please let us know in the comments below.
If you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, please do so now. And click that bell icon so you get a notification when our next video lands.
Share this video with your friends.
If you're not already a member of our fantastic Walt Disney World Adults Only Facebook page, please join today. The link is in the description down below, and we will be continuing this discussion along with many, many more.
And remember, never grow up.